Do you have your shot glass? We have to get into the right frame of mind for this. Wow, I'm not used to being here all by myself. Welcome to Take Your Shot, our monthly Tequila Sunrise live stream where we spend our time with some startup founders and give them their shot at stardom with their own 3-minute pitch to our discerning judges. And in case you don't know, I'm Greg White, and I appreciate you all joining us. And let me tell you a little bit about what we do here. We highlight some of these founders, supply chain tech founders, and we've got a good one for you today because it also involves one of everyone else's favorite topics, weed. So let's get started. This is a great collaboration between Kubera Venture Capital, and you're going to meet one of the newest players at Kubera here shortly. Link Labs, which is a soon-coming incubator in the Atlanta area specifically for supply chain techs, where we build and guide, intensively advise, and grow supply chain tech companies. And brought to you, of course, by Supply Chain Now. And Scott made that mistake again of letting me have the mic. So let's bring in our judge and meet him, and let's get started. There he is.
Good morning, Greg.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Mark Janssen, right? So Mark and I have been working together in Wichita, Kansas, of all places, where both of us are roughly from. You're from a little north of there, right?
Yep.
Mark is a serial entrepreneur. He's currently VP of engineering at a big compliance cloud company called Avalara. So they are huge and public. So if you haven't heard of them, like I hadn't, get your act together and learn about these companies. But also a serial entrepreneur. He's doing some angel investing and our newest venture partner at Kubera Venture Capital. So welcome to Tequila Sunrise, to Take Your Shot, and also welcome officially your public debut as a venture partner at Kubera.
Well, thank you, Greg. I can't think of a better way to do that.
You can't really? It seems like
No, I mean, I've always wanted to be a guest on your show, Greg.
Well, thank you. I've always wanted to have you, and thank you for doing it on short notice, by the way. So I appreciate it. I have one quick question for you. What's the little spaceman there behind you? Can you?
Oh, this is like the MTV astronaut guy.
Oh, got it. Very nice.
I'm a space enthusiast, so I keep that there.
Outstanding. Well, we'll have to talk about another company offline as well then. So the way that we're going to do this is Mark is going to help judge this. I'll be filling in for a couple of judges who had some conflicts here. We're going to bring in our founder. They've got 3 minutes to pitch, and then we're going to talk about what we heard and also hear from some of you in the community. So let's see who's here with us right now. We've got Davin here. If I can get this thing to scroll. There we go. Oh my gosh. Oh, Scott is on the sidelines today. Scott, thanks for warning people to buckle up. Yes, keep your arms and hands inside the vehicle because it's going to be a rough ride. T-Squared are always holding down the fort on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, what is going on with the weather on the East Coast here? It was a 97 with heat index on it in Atlanta yesterday. Sylvia Judy in the States, in Charleston, I presume. So thanks for joining us. Let's see. Why are we talking about booze here, Judy? Sylvia? Peach Schnapps. This is Tequila Sunrise, just to be clear, in case you were missing it. Davin has joined us. Who else we got? And Nick. So we've got people from across the pond watching us, Mark. No pressure.
No
but
pressure.
We've got people from all over the world. So, all right, without further ado, let's bring in our founder, Colton Griffin, CEO of Flourish Software.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Mark.
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm gonna go ahead.
Good to have you.
Green up.
I want to warn our community that Colton is already warmed up. He had a pitch earlier this morning. So Colton is, as I said, CEO of Flourish Software, a cannabis tech company. Yes, like I said, everyone's favorite college topic. Working in the cannabis industry, CBD, cannabis, and hemp. An ERP of sorts. You'll learn more about it, but a compliance and data management technology in the industry. Full disclosure, I am a small shareholder and member of the board of directors. And for the first time, I think, on Take Your Shot, Colton, someone who is actually in the process of raising, right? You're raising right now. I mean, you literally did just pitch some potential investors earlier today, right?
I did, and we are. So it's awesome to be here and share the story, and yeah, get it's good timing. I guess we could say that. So
there you go. All right, so let me set my my timer here.
Is my screen on?
You want to share?
Let me try it again.
We may need some technical assistance for the share.
Cool. Working now?
We're
Perfect.
good?
There we go.
Good idea to get the presentation up before we start.
That's what we're talking about.
We might give you a couple of seconds. Over. All right, are you ready?
I'm good.
All right, pitches.
Do it.
Morning. Thank you all for having me. My name is Colton Griffin. I'm CEO of Flourish Software. We're, as Greg said, a vertically specific supply chain management software solution, specifically focused on cannabis and hemp, servicing the industry truly from seed to sell. Now, cannabis is one of the fastest growing industries in the country. It's transforming healthcare, it's transforming recreation, it's creating hundreds of thousands of jobs, and this entire industry relies on software to make it work. No matter which segment of the supply chain you're in, cultivation, manufacturing, distribution, or retail, like all of these operators have to comply with incredibly burdensome regulations and report back to state track and trace systems. It's really how we got into this business. But really why we're here is to help our clients win. We're trying to create the next Jack Daniels, create the next Swisher Sweets. We're looking at $1 billion addressable market that we're trying to tackle from a software spend within a $30 billion ag tech software market. As everyone's seen, 35 states legal already. National legalization is rolling across the company. There's thousands and thousands of cannabis operators around the country. And this is growing into a $100 billion plus consumer market over the next couple of years. It's pretty amazing to be here. And so who is Flourish? Like, we're the industry leading platform making it all work. We're taking all of our supply chain domain knowledge and applying it to this vertical. We're facilitating hundreds of millions of dollars in transactions already. We're the leader in integrations and connecting the tech across the supply chain. And honestly, we really care about getting this right. We love our vertically integrated customers who, truly we can service from seed to sell, but we also service customers that just are in a single segment of supply chain. So inventory managers, purchasing managers, sales operations, and then C-level execs wanting to understand what's happening in their business, all log into our software every day to help get their sales up, help prevent stockouts, control their margins, and optimize their operations. Over the last 4 years, we've really changed the conversation from simply compliance to true operational enablement. And our customers have come to us first and foremost for our software, for our ability to service all of their business, all their license types, for amazing integration capabilities, for world-class implementation support services backed up by the software, and being a trusted leader to scale the business. We've hit over $2.5 million in recurring revenue, almost 100 logos, 200 plus operations across the country. We're investing to further penetrate our established markets and service more. And we're one of the few customers that's already servicing few software companies that's servicing a national market. We have an amazing team with a strong supply chain background, strong tech background, and we're backed by investors both inside and outside of the industry. Which brings me today to our ask. As Greg said, we are raising a $5 million Series A, looking to truly invest in scaling out our sales and marketing, backing the team behind each of our products, and monetizing the last 4 years of the foundation we built to truly own the market opportunity in front of us.
Wow. That was really good. That was good, Colton.
That was a tight
timing is really good.
3 minutes goes quick.
That is the hardest part of it. So thank you. Thanks for that. I really appreciate that. Mark, did you want to start? You want me to start?
Sure. I got a question for you, Colton. What is your unfair advantage? Why are you guys going to win at this versus someone else?
So foundation and architecture, as you probably know, as a software engineer, means everything. And we built this thing right. We deployed to 3 states, our first 3 customers, and our ability to seamlessly deploy and service people with multiple licenses crossing multiple states that need a deep level of integration to their overall tech stack is one of the big differentiators for us. And this secret weapon of having actual knowledge of moving boxes through large scale warehouses prior to being in this industry draws a lot of daylight between us and a lot of the other tech that's threw their hat into the ring here.
So give me an idea of how much this is a greenfield market. You're replacing spreadsheets or nothing at all or manual processes versus how much of a replacement sale.
Early on, just because some of the early players really weren't cutting it upstream, it was a lot of replacement. Nowadays, it's a lot of greenfield. I mean, this whole market is going to 5 to 10x in sort of size over the next couple of years, and we're already seeing that over the last 2 years as these new states are coming on. So, every day we're getting people off of Google Sheets and spreadsheets and pen and paper. Or they're just opening their doors for the first time and they want to open it with a leading piece of software to do it right from day one.
Yeah.
Literally greenfield.
Literally greenfield. Lots of green and a million puns in this industry, which makes it even more fun.
I'm curious, what are some unique insights you think you have that others entering this industry from related places wouldn't know? Like what do you uniquely possess?
So, I think we approach this 2 ways. One is we've seen how technology works at scale. We've been in 1 million square foot warehouses and understand the importance of scanning. That's why we have a mobile app that's far and beyond what most of our competitors don't have. We understand that we have to play in as a platform and hook into an overall tech ecosystem. That's why we're a very integration first minded company. LeafLink, one of the leading $100 million funded companies in this industry, is a tight partnership with us. All of their orders that they capture drop into our system and we do all the fulfillment. And it's just like Best Buy doing omni-channel retail. And that's where we come from, right? Is working with those customers. So knowing how this is going to look and building one step ahead of what our customers need has helped our customers actually get there a lot faster. Our biggest customer went from less than 50 to almost 2,000 employees in 4 years, and their entire enterprise runs on our software. And they partnered with us as a technology partner because we knew what they needed, and we were able to really, really listen to them and translate those needs into product. And we release new code every other week. So incredibly fast, agile development process to stay one step ahead and adapt to regulation changes, even that sometimes drop week by week. So
how do you keep up with, so I'll just explain this for the community. There are hundreds and hundreds of regulations, hundreds of laws around compliance and provenance and all these things in the industry, and they're unique to each state. So how do you keep up with those changes? I mean, I read an article a year or 2 back about 140 law changes in Colorado alone in 1 year. So how do you keep up with those things as regards compliance for?
We have a really tight process that goes from idea to on the screen and deployed really, really quickly. I mean, honestly, we rely a lot on our customer base to be our ears on the ground. Fortunately, a number number of regulations, only a certain segment affects software. So, but like, I would say almost every month it feels like something will come out and say, hey, we need a new field, or hey, this state track and trace system changed, like slightly in this way. And we honestly just have to adapt really, really quickly. We built our system with like configuration first, not like a module, not like a mod or customization first mindset. So, it's really easy for us to like flip on and off different pieces of configuration or tune that to adapt. And, it's that having that startup mindset and that agility, which is like one of our core values, is being agile, and we built it into everything we do.
Colton, what is your average selling price, if you can talk to that?
About $12.50 a month is the ASP per
Purely
license.
SaaS business model.
It is. We charge a setup fee, and we've done some consulting projects here and there along the way. Just as someone needs a higher touch engagement, we're obviously want to monetize our time there. But it's a SaaS model for the revenue. We're looking to monetize some of the payments and some of the transactions. There's a lot of money running through our software right now, so we're getting close on getting that over the finish line. And our pricing is actually on our website. We try to do that to make it a little bit shorter, easier for our customers to understand what we're offering and where they fit in the market. We have a small segment of customers that are smaller startups. It's our like launch program. We have our mid segment, it's our scale. Those are folks that are really running and full speed. And then our enterprise customers who generally have like 3 to 5 to 50 licenses, and those are much higher touch, like sales cycle, and also a beefier client. And that's where we're trying to get as many of our clients towards, and that's really where we spend a lot of our time on.
So since you're at $12.50, is that the average you're trying to attain? You're trying to get to a higher average monthly revenue?
So logo wise, average we're really looking for is like 3 to 5 is really where we're headed. So $12.50 is like a good blend when we kind of take out our top and our big. We have like a big set of customers at the top and a small set of customers at the bottom. So the average is right there in the middle, and that's kind of where we landed on our standard mid-size pricing. But I think a lot of our customers, like when I look at our top 20-30% of our customers, they're all spending much more than that. But because they're getting a lot more out of it and they're running a ton of business through our software.
And with your Series A, are you going to be growing like an enterprise sales team, or are your customers mostly self-service in terms of purchase?
So it's sort of bifurcating the two. We are definitely investing the people in the sales team and expanding the sales team to go after that top of market customer. Mm-hmm. That's just, like we have a ton of referenceable customers and good success stories and case studies. And that's where we think it makes sense to apply our human talent, and then continually to code and tune the product so that we can capture the bottom of the market, in that low to no touch sale. It's still ERP like software, so it's hard to sell that with zero touch, but we're trying to make that as easy as possible for folks that are that want to access our software and don't have $1 million budget to do that. So that's as we're kind of thinking about our Series A and building our go to market. It's bifurcated between the two. And the nice thing is that every time we code things for the smaller players, it generally helps the top end of the market as well, right? Like, and just easier to get things updated and onboarded, and, it's the kind of the magic of the product management behind the scenes. So.
Hey, we have a question from the field, and I bet we know who this is by virtue of the question. So let me read this into the record, Colton. If the industry is big and growing, what prevents incumbents from entering your space and being more robust in features to meet the need? So
the uniqueness and why I said vertically specific SaaS is, and why I see a lot of the world going to vertically specific solutions is because there's a lot of compliance-driven things that change, and our incumbents are not as flexible as we are. There's a lot of magic behind the state track and trace interface that's like incredibly hard to engineer, and we spent 4 years getting that right. And there's a lot of like need and appetite for our customer and our customer profile to have something that's built that just aligns with their workflows. No one wants to like create a purchase order to receive veg plants into their flower room that makes no sense. And I've seen all sorts of crazy stuff people play with, like the larger ERPs, to try to bend it to make it work. And we've helped customers that have failed at trying to implement SAP for almost a year, and then we come in a matter of weeks, like onboard our software, and are managing 2,000 plus items in a high volume distribution environment. And then a year later, we've seen that that customer specifically grow well over 100% on the platform, and eliminate stockouts and solve everything they're trying to solve for a fraction of the price. So it's the vertically specific pieces of our software are where we focus: lab testing, batch testing, extraction workflows, cultivation workflows, and then the kind of the service and implementation nuance as well matters a lot. It's just hard to catch up.
So I mean, is your moat first mover advantage, or I mean, is there something proprietary that would keep it or make it or keep it really difficult for somebody with a lot of funding to catch up?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, like, you got to be in the system, you got to be in the industry to know what you know. You can't just like build it looking at, looking from the outside in. So I would say our advantage is second mover advantage. The first movers were kind of terrible, but we created the demand and the mandate that software had to be deployed across all of this entire industry, which is why customers adopt software so they can capture their business and they can report stuff back. And that was sort of the compliance pitch. Our pitch is like bringing in professionalism on top of that compliance to get it right. And this window right now is like our sweet spot to just go ahead and eat up market share and just dominate it. And then we play well with other ERPs, right? We have a partnership with NetSuite. We have a Canadian company that we interface back to NetSuite with. We do our things right; they do their things right. We have customers using Sage Intacct, great financial package. We have customers that want to look at ERP, but mostly just for the finance and the HR and some of the other higher level planning. But like operationals, like we're best of breed for the operations. Just like you'd buy a Manhattan WMS if you really want to run your warehouse with their level of functionality that you're just not going to find in Oracle or an SAP. So,
Colton, you brought up Canada. Is your market right now US only, US and Canada?
We're almost all US right now. We have some traction in cannabis, some traction in Canada. We just haven't really had bandwidth to full press up there. State of California is larger than the country Canada is market size. So there's plenty of business right in our backyard. But the beauty about the software, it's SaaS and it's built on the cloud and it's easy to deploy across the world, really. And when I look forward, over the next couple of years, I do anticipate us servicing a more international market, and we built a tech to be able to do so.
Hey, I've got a question from A.A. Mohib from Wichita, right? Currently, I think he's getting yet another PhD in supply chain. So his question is: the industry being cannabis, of course, already very mature compared to other fast-moving consumer goods. How do you see improving the supply chain even further?
Like, there's incredible friction in the sales process that we're eliminating every single time we deploy. There's incredible challenges with data cleanliness and integrity across the supply chain, which we come in and it's like kind of step one in our deployment process is get that right. There's a lot of fragmentation in this market, and we're like fixing that with our integrations and pulling all this stuff together. There's a ton of M&A and how to integrating companies into the bigger picture is something that we're well suited to help with. One of our biggest customers just got bought for $80 million. They're a full vertical integrated customer of ours. And in a matter of days, we were plugged in everything into their corporate data warehouse for the parent company and looking to expand out into the larger picture. So, I mean, I think, sometimes we think we've solved all these supply chain problems, but things around visibility, connectivity, traceability, the ability to click one button and see everywhere that your product went to recall something, like it's just something that enterprise in the broader market fantasizes about, and it's been millions of dollars trying to solve, and this industry is building it natively into what they do from day one. And I think really what we're doing is setting the stage for what connectivity and supply chain looks like, especially for small, medium-sized businesses, being under $100 million businesses, going forward. And I look at cannabis as the first step to a much bigger addressable market. But there's so much to keep us busy right here that we don't need to jump there today.
Bold, but do you have eyes on that?
Oh, totally. I mean, in 2018, when hemp came on, we rolled this out to a number of hemp players across the country with a lot less regulatory requirements, but much more business requirements, and it's been really successful. We've had discussions with a number of people in different verticals that are also stuck on spreadsheets and antiquated access databases and old technology and have unique traceability requirements. And, it's been really good discovery, but frankly, we're just busy servicing our current customer base. So, there's not a huge impetus to like jump into a new market until, we're well capitalized and we've won this one and we're ready to go tackle the next.
I love it. I love cannabis as a building ground for the broader supply chain. So this may not be really a specific question to cannabis, but I still think
I got an answer for this one.
Yeah, I still think relevant. Can you share an example of another vertical ERP that's taken market from the big guys?
So one of the most amazing SaaS companies I've seen on the public markets is Viva. It's a pharmaceutical focused CRM that grew into much more than a CRM that took essentially they actually originally built their platform on Salesforce's platform, spun out, built it on their own, and have taken market share from anybody trying to do CRM in pharma, and then they've extended to QMS. So like they actually were pretty low. They didn't raise a ton of money doing it, but have been a huge success even on the public markets. There's a lot, there's a huge trend, I think, for vertically specific solutions to just go and find a really niche market with a big enough addressable, opportunity, and there's clean house because, people don't like spending, 18 months trying to configure something to make it work and then deal with a bunch of clunky screens to get through their workday every day and wonder like, why do I have to call this? This doesn't make any sense. It doesn't correspond to what I'm doing, when they're used to, like, we see this consumerization of B2B of technology and like consumer level expectations coming into like their B2B daily work experience, especially for folks that didn't grow up working on the green screen over the last 20 years. So,
right, we've never even seen a green screen.
Right.
So, follow-on question to that. Sorry, Mark, I'll let you get a question in here, but a follow-on question to that: are there big and prominent ERP players in the cannabis industry?
Not really. There's some resellers that are doing some Microsoft stuff. When I talk to clients using that, I tend to find that they're using an ecosystem of spreadsheets and then pay somebody to take those spreadsheets and data entry it into their ERP so finance can get what they want. I know that like there's an SAP Business One reseller that we've seen not succeed, and us come in and succeed after them. But like a lot of the full focus for these larger companies, like just due to the illegality of cannabis, like they can't really fully enter the market. So they have to do it through a VAR and kind of a little bit behind the scenes. And it's just like this industry moves so fast, right? If you think 6 months implementation, our clients' businesses look dramatically different from month 1 to month 6 if they're doing their business right. And like you can't say like it just doesn't. We're too fast, and we need to move too quickly to like spend that amount of time getting it dialed in. Only to have it completely change, and and the staff turnover as well in this industry is one of the challenges that we have. We put a lot of emphasis on training and retraining and engagement, but like who even knows if that point person is going to be there for a 2-year implementation? Like most of our customers are under 5 years old. So even if they've been in the industry for maybe 10 to 30 years, some of them. So transitioning
30 years, they weren't using an ERP back then.
I don't think so. Maybe an on-prem solution. You'd be surprised. So,
yeah. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Colton, what keeps you up at night?
What keeps me up at night? I just thinking about all the fun stuff that we're building. I'm a product-minded person at the end of the day. And like I love designing, how all the stuff fits together. I honestly, I think we're just doing right by our customers. Like there's a lot of noise in this industry that could keep you up if you're not if you don't have some thick skin or some like ability to kind of shut off the noise. And really like to get this raise done so we can get to work and fully maximize our opportunity. So yeah, I mean, it's, you always wonder about production, but we keep our app up and running really well. And, I don't know, things that keep me up at night, I try to fix so I can sleep well, and I tend to sleep pretty well.
So I know one thing. If it doesn't keep you up at night, it's a topic of discussion that we have had frequently, and that is the current consolidation in the marketplace. So, give me an idea of how you see your participation or role, your company, blending into that new ecosystem, because it's coming fast, right? There is a ton of money putting companies together. We just saw Dutchy and LeafLink and whomever else go public in a SPAC. So give me your thoughts on that.
I mean, there's a reason why we have really great relationships with a bunch of leading, well-funded other tech players in the industry. So consolidation on the tech side, I mean, we built a platform to be an anchor for a tech consolidation play for a reason. So, that's kind of one of my jobs is to be ahead of that, have those right conversations open, and be in touch with the capital that wants to be deployed. And then from a customer consolidation, we really built this platform for the consolidator. Or like a lot of times I talk to our customer base and be like, if you want to get bought, you better put a system in, you can prove you're doing what you say you're doing. And, like using our software, like if I was making an investment in this industry, and was able to one click of a button, get reports on cost of goods sold and throughput and inventory hold, how much inventory you're holding and churn, inventory churns and, performance, like it's kind of like shorten the due diligence significantly and, set these people up for success. And so, and then once we're there, we make it pretty easy to integrate into the bigger picture. We've done it. We've seen it a couple times. So I don't know. It's change can be scary, or you can make it really, really exciting. And we try to make it exciting and use it as an advantage.
Mark, you got anything else?
I just love that part about I'm ready to write a check. I love that part about simplifying due diligence, because in an industry that's moving quickly, that is a really big deal. Like you don't want your company to be stuck in due diligence for 3 months because your paperwork's a mess. I think that's a really great sales pitch.
I mean, it doesn't land with every operator we talk to, but it's kind of amazing when you say like, yeah, I'm running a multi-million-dollar business, and where's your source of truth? Well, we have 6 Google spreadsheets, and let me get back to you on that. So, but it moves really quick, right? So like once you start to grow, I mean, like getting this in, it's just, I mean, it's like a no-brainer. So yeah.
How much of your business is professional services?
Like 5% maybe. So it's not in the number we looked at there. It's we charge about 10% of the annual contract to get up and running. So $3,000, $5,000, $2,000. It kind of negotiates depending on the need and what we're doing. So we're covering a lot of our costs for the professional services. It's not quite a profit center for us yet. But we like it, and we obviously came from a world where professional services was a huge piece of it. I think early on in this journey, we really wanted to just like get this product with as few barriers as possible into as many hands as possible to get that validation. And then really, as we're thinking about growing this business, we're further tiering and monetizing elements of it to maximize, the market opportunity.
So what's next? I mean, what do you see as a logical outgrowth of the technology and the solution set that you have today?
Well, we have really amazing V2 on our manufacturing coming out iteratively over the next couple months. So I think that's going to change the game for manufacturers. I think what we released 2 years ago, as far as that, was a game changer for step one. And now we've had a ton of really sophisticated clients give us feedback and put together the next version. Big piece is entering a couple new states. So we need to hook into another state track and trace system, which is going to be a technical engineering project on the back end that no one will appreciate until they do. But that's a big project for us. And then We have a bunch of kind of interesting wins that are way too in the weeds for the audience here, but I think are going to be really, really meaningful for our customers and user base. So I say that like I prioritize about a 500 about 500 things on our product roadmap that we rationalize, prioritize, and schedule over the next year, and link them together and have a whole order of which we want to build it out. So it's small things, big things, and everything in between. So I could talk product all day long.
Mark, you can tell Colton's a cannabis industry veteran because he didn't even say, pardon the pun, when he said in the weeds. So
I know. I just love the puns. They just keep coming.
It doesn't even need to be said anymore.
No.
It's inevitable.
So as goes the raise, I'm asking a question like any good lawyer would that I already know the answer to, but I think it would be valuable for our audience. So as goes the raise, what are you, what are you seeing out there, and what are you expecting in terms of market interest?
I mean, we're seeing tons of interest from, some vertical specific investors, like a lot of strategics talking to us, a lot of interesting private equity groups that we've had great discussions with, and building those relationships for probably the next phase of our journey. We're just kind of in that tweener stage between, getting this thing funded, deployed, and up and running, and all the foundation built to like truly, hitting those next revenue thresholds. So yeah, I mean, we're out looking for 5 million. That's the model we have put together to put that money to work, get us past those next levels of threshold. We're not burning a lot of cash. I mean, relatively, like we've been super capital efficient. I think we've been really smart. I mean, I put a non-insignificant amount of my own money into this business, so I treat it all like mine. It's been good. I mean, we just raised some cash on a bridge. Have like a little bit left if someone wants to get in by the end of the month. So we have a good foundation to go through this whole fundraising process for. And I know, some people in the audience may understand that fundraising is a big effort. So this is going to be the next couple months of work going through, looking for that right lead, anchoring it, and then just getting it done. And so I'm excited.
Outstanding. Well, great work answering the questions, dodging all of this from in the window and in the skyboxes. So I appreciate you sharing your vision with the community, and good luck. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Mark, why don't you say something? Because I'm going to talk to him like an hour from now.
Well, good luck, Colton. I think you have a great presentation, great pitch. It's a wonderful industry to be developing. And it'll be interesting to see how the traditional ERP players, the Intuits, the NetSuites, the Intacts, eventually, I suspect when there's national legalization, they'll feel the freedom to move into places that they wouldn't normally go. So you've got a great opportunity right now to go harvest that market. See, I'm getting good at these puns, Greg.
You're a farm kid though, so it's natural.
It's like, you see all the noise, all the headlines, you think, wow, cannabis is here. It's like still so early. I mean, the real reality is there's so much opportunity opening up. Like it's kind of mind blowing to think like all the capital, all the headlines, all the noise, all the excitement. And you just look about like how many hundreds of millions, like millions and millions of people don't have access to dispensary. There's 6 liquor stores within a 2-minute walk of my house. There's 1 cannabis store within a 15-minute walk of my house. And I'm in Venice, in like Venice Beach in California, Los Angeles.
Wow.
It's crazy how much there is in front of us. And, I think that's the real opportunity here. It's a long-term game. I mean, we're creating the brands of the future. We're creating the economy of the future, and like really think, changing the paradigm of how software interacts with business. So it's cool. I appreciate the time.
Yeah. Appreciate the info. Thank you very much. Appreciate you sharing this. Colton Griffin, CEO of Flourish Software. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice to meet you, Colton.
Nice to meet you.
All right, Mark, this is the part where we get to talk about him behind his back, though I bet he hung out in the green room so he can still hear us. So any immediate takeaways?
It's a good pitch. I'm very, very familiar with ERP companies from my prior background, and I think it's to pardon the pun, it is a great greenfield right now because I think a lot of players are afraid to venture into the space, and so there's a big opportunity for a limited time for someone like him to go build as much market share as he can as quickly as he can.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm not sure how limited. I mean, I know the window is limited. I don't know what limited means yet.
The giants won't be asleep forever, and so you can't build your business plan on that. But they're going to, they may be asleep for a while.
Yeah, and you can see big companies starting to show interest in various areas that are adjacent to what Flourish is doing. You already hear rumblings of big companies getting involved from a technology standpoint. Of course, huge companies have gotten involved from a production and retail or vertical standpoint. Constellation famously invested $8 billion or something like that. I don't know where that is today. I think most of it gone, there's definitely going to be coming the big companies once we get federal regulation, and I think that's what we need to figure out. Honestly, I expected it to be a higher priority of the current administration to do that, but also I didn't anticipate all of the other things that are happening that are much, much more important than that.
I would say one strength and weakness is that traditionally the ERPs are sold through channels. So there's a significant dealer network out there. And since his sales model is direct, which is primarily an advantage, when those players, when those channel partners enter the space, they can't sell his software. So they're going to sell, the NetSuite cannabis module instead, or something like that. So
that's a very proximate threat, no doubt. I think I'm buried in this thing, of course, because I meet with them all the time. I think a lot of things, but if I was to distill it to its highest level, I think if Flourish can, if they can leverage the data play and the track and trace, then I think they can make hay. I can tell you that companies are really, really interested in data around this market. Both brands and technology companies, they're really, really interested in getting data because they know it's the only way to have a chance at being able to predict and effectively respond to such a volatile and rapidly growing market.
And he mentioned due diligence, but that data is also super valuable for valuing the company. If these players are changing hands so often, the depth of their data is what they can use to prove their value to the purchaser. Yeah,
and the accountability of a system of record like this is really, really important because, look, let's face it, most of the people who are opening stores are cannabis enthusiasts first and retailers and technologists second, right? So there are a lot of relatively unsophisticated players in the marketplace, and some of those include some of the larger multi-state operators. They're not yet as mature, though a lot more of them are they're getting more seasoned management that is familiar with the broader commerce marketplace.
So Greg, when we do finally have federal regulation, what effect is that going to have on all the mom and pop players and the SMBs and so forth? Do you think there's going to be rapid consolidation?
I think that's already starting to happen in anticipation of that. So, but yes, there will be rapid consolidation. Just like I think that, frankly, so many of these more enthusiast type entrepreneurs, they're not in the business because they love it or because they see necessarily a huge growth path. They're plotting their corner just like in the old days of selling weed, they're plotting their corner and they're waiting for somebody to come give them a good offer to buy them out on that. I really do think there are a lot of people who are opportunistically more than long-term thinkingly in this industry.
Is there a danger to Colton that if you build your business primarily on SMB customers, that when the big enterprise companies come in, they already have their SAP, whatever, and they just they buy companies and shut your system off? Yes,
there is definitely that concern. Fortunately, they've got one of the biggest MSOs, multi-state operators, as a customer, and some open doors to some others. But that they definitely need to get in there. And this is another thing that I want to create a distinction here, because the term ERP, there is still what Flourish does is just a segment, a specialized segment of what an entire ERP does. For instance, it's not a finance and accounting system like an SAP, right? It collects and provides accountability for the data and the products that you have in the supply chain. It's much closer to the supply chain operations end of an ERP than it is to the finance and accounting or any of the other things that ERPs typically dabble in.
And also, it seems like probably doesn't do point of sale.
Does do point of sale.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. We should pretend like we don't know that, because he didn't present that. But it does do point of sale. But there are hundreds and hundreds, well, dozens and dozens of point of sale providers out there. Mm-hmm. That's not a differentiating factor. That's sort of table stakes. And I think you have to use point of sale. I think the benefit that Flourish has is they can use point of sale as the point of entry to their vertical play, because they're very strong in cultivation, very strong in manufacturing, and connecting all of that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I loved hearing about the lean forward on integrations. One of the ways that Avalera built its business is by having more integrations than everyone else. And I think, for instance, having integrations to all the leading point of sale platforms is a great model for him to follow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I think this, to me, when I look at this company, and this is my job generally, but specifically with this company, when I look at this company, I see it as a great acquisition target for a big player, not just in the cannabis industry, but because of, as he said, their greater vision to connect the supply chain, which is an absolute mandate in the cannabis industry, and will become a de facto, if not government mandate, in the broader supply chain. So this could be a nice little bolt-on to whatever else an SAP or Oracle or whomever else gets into the space, has, not just for its cannabis focus, though. I mean, we've seen that a lot as well. The big players buy a vertical player in wine and spirits or hardware or whatever, right? I mean, there is an aspect of that. But still, I mean, the predominant ERP, if you can even say that in this industry, is QuickBooks. It's the most widespread accounting and finance technology that is used in the industry. So
I would suggest probably QuickBooks and spreadsheets.
And notebooks. I mean, it depends on the sophistication of the organization and where the founder came from. If they came from a street corner, it's not unlikely that they're running their store with the same notebook they ran on their street corner. So, there, as he said, not only in is the marketplace itself very nascent, but the adoption and utilization of technology in this marketplace is very, very nascent. Though they are generally of a generation and an inclination to want to employ technology and cloud technology first, which is also a hurdle for the traditional ERPs, because regardless of what anyone says, they're still on-premise technologies. So I think there's a desire in the industry generally to set it and forget it, and the kind of solutions that allow the practitioners to do that are going to thrive in this industry. So that's not to say it's not without its challenges, right? I mean, this is a small company. 2.6 million ARR is still relatively small. And as one question, I think that might have been Balaji who posted that question, but as one question is if you can do it with the funding you've had, why couldn't the big companies do it with virtually limitless funding? And that's a great question to ask any entrepreneur, because you can really get blinders on and think no one else could do this. But the fact is, with enough money and enough time, you can do anything, right?
His advantage is they're already doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Anyone else coming into the market, it's going to take time just to duplicate what he's done.
And if he can get enough market share, as you asked about, right, then it's better to buy than build.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I hope he's successful on his Series A.
Yeah, I think the market is interested. I can assure you of that. I have a feeling that that's going to go quite well. But I'm glad we got to share this. I think this is, as I said earlier, Mark, this is the first time we've gotten the opportunity to share someone who's actually in the process of raising right now. So that's pretty cool. Some have just been on the back of that, and some just a precursor, a preview of what's coming. So, and thanks to you, by the way, thank you. I appreciate it. Great questions. We got a lot of comments about your questions, and Nick Rumer loves the Spaceman. So thank you for introducing us to the Spaceman. That's cool.
Great. Well, thanks for having me on the Sunrise.
Yeah, thank you. Mark Janssen, again, VP of Engineering, Avalara, serial entrepreneur, and I'm not talking about breakfast cereal, angel investor, and our newest venture partner at Kubera. So thank you. And thanks to everyone else out there. Great questions. Obviously, great conversation. I'm not sure what Peter and Scott are talking about, but they're talking about it a lot. So really interesting to see what the team is, or what the folks in the skyboxes are saying. And thank you for joining us. Look, be sure to check out all of our shows. We talk about a lot of things on supply chain now. Thanks again to Scott for giving me the mic. Again, his mistake. And you can subscribe to Tequila Sunrise or any of the Supply Chain Now shows wherever you get your podcast from, on YouTube, or go to supplychainnow.com on behalf of Mark Janssen, Colton Griffin, myself, and the entire Supply Chain Now and Tequila Sunrise team. Thank you for joining us, and remember, acknowledge reality, but never be bound by it.